And the thing I love about the strike, if you can, is the community, the creative community that it brought together. All these other kind of, minorities and oppressed kind of people and groups of people, they all came together and rallied when they saw another group of people that maybe were alien to them really, suffering similar things, similar experiences. The one on the left, it's one of them in it, left from right. The one on the left is the LGBT community, and lesbians and gays support the miners, which if you've seen the film Pride, that's the poster of the gig that they put on at the end of the film, which raised a lot of money. They did one at the Hacienda as well, I believe. And that was just done by a bloke called Kev, just because he knew how to work the photocopier. And it was like, Kev, you're creative, aren't you? Fuck, shit as a poster out. But again, it is what it is, and it looks the way it looks, and it's right because of that. And the one on the other side is from a print workshop in London where they taught people how to silk screen and screen print. And it was after the strike where there was a campaign for amnesty for people who'd been arrested during the dispute who weren't given amnesty even though they should have been because it was a dispute with the government. And again, I just think it's amazing. But one of the other things I'm most proud of is what the strike did for women. My mum was part of Women Against Pit Closures. And it completely changed everything for women because these patriarchal communities where this was just real life. It was the man did the work. He went off to work. He did his shift, and then he came home and he wanted his his tea on the table. The role of the woman was get the kids up, get them off to school, do the housework, cook the tea, get the kids back, put them to bed, step, repeat. A clockwork doll, as one female activist told me, that was the role. And then suddenly the men were out of work, and that cycle didn't work anymore. It didn't fit. And of course, what Margaret Thatcher was quite ironically, our first female Prime Minister, she thought would happen was that the women would be the ones who got the miners back to work because they would want to perpetuate their existence. They would want to have nice things. They'd want to supply for their kids and their families. And I'm really, really, really proud to say that she was fucking wrong. She couldn't have been more fucking wrong, actually. Because what the women did through creativity, and I don't just mean designing stuff, and I don't just mean mark making, I mean inventing ways to make money without wages, inventing social systems to feed kids, to send kids on holidays, to get them Christmas presents. There's creativity in that. It's not always, this sort of bubble that we've got of, it's arts and crafts and all that shit. It is, but it's not just that. Everyone is creative, and everyone can be creative, and that's a massive part of what this book's about. An example there, the banner is done by an activist called Aggie Curry. Her dad and her husband and her brother, I think, were miners, and she designed this banner. And in the kind of trade union vernacular, yeah, it looks like a banner, and it sort of picks up on all those tropes. But she's using the colours of the suffragettes and building on movements that have come before. That again, that's an informed decision. That's not what a lot of people in our kind of middle class industry think, that fucking working class, they're thick, they don't understand this shit. They do. And it's really wrong to sort of dismiss it because it doesn't come from that kind of acknowledged place of where creative stuff should come from. Aggie took pictures. These are on demonstrations in London. This is her pit, Markham, Maine. And there's something about these pictures. She did graffiti and then took pictures of her own graffiti. Why? I'll never get my head around. It being a criminal offence and stuff. It's like, here's some evidence. But again, there's wit, and then there's lovely wordplay there. All the police stood at, because she did it on either side of the pit gates. And this one's a personal favourite, which I always show. She learnt that someone was scabbing in the village, which, if you're unfamiliar with the term, is strike breaking, going back to work when everyone else is out. And she found out she's a fucking maniac. She's great, I love her, but she's really fiery. And she got wind of this and she went apeshit, and she was like, right, I'm fucking sure them. And she, under the cover of darkness, went to the house and paint bombed it, this person who'd gone back to work. And then the union phoned her up in the morning. They were like, for fuck's sake, Aggie, fucking, what are you doing? And she was like, solidarity and all this kind of shit. And then he told her, you got the wrong house. So the union paid for it to be cleaned, and then she went with her mates and did the real address. And I also am really proud of the humour, because under such stoic, well, they were stoic, you know, under such fucking tremendous hardship. 1 year, a full year without any wages. Can you imagine that? No income, nothing. You know, my dad, you know, I'm one of three, I'm the youngest. You know, my brother was 7 and my sister was 5 when I was born. And my dad was 27 when he was arrested. So 2 kids, 1 on the way, mum at home, and no money for 12 months. And yet they could walk past a Salvation Army door and change safe sinners to love miners. I think that's amazing, you know, and I know it's kind of like, you know, a thing that we'd all come to because we train that muscle, but you're missing the point if you sort of overlook that stuff. There's still value there, and these things become kind of totems for things. They become treasured, and they become almost like national treasures of like language and ways of communicating. These statements, like Call Not Dole, for example, they just become universal things, but it just comes from a place that we all try to get to as designers and distilling.